Technology, master or servant? Every new technology cuts both ways. Value the tools you need to use, but be careful about becoming obsessed with them. As Sophocles said, no great gift enters the human sphere without a curse. Use the technology, but be careful about it using you. Note, although this card will focus mostly on technology, it also has a more general meaning for which overvalued gadgetry could be considered metaphorical. So this would depend on whether, on the position of the card and what seems relevant to you, whether the more general meaning or the more specific about technology is the more relevant. But that more general meaning would be focusing on the extrinsic at the cost of the intrinsic. So examples of that would be infatuation with a person, a desired object, a method of success, and various other outer goals. They're all examples of finding an outside object, a precious, to rule them all. But mostly we're going to focus on the more specific meaning of technology as master or servant. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, said Arthur C. Clarke in 1961, also called Clarke's Third Law. Accepting Crowley's definition of magic as the science and art of causing change in conformity with will, it becomes apparent that we live in an era when technology not only blurs with magic, it is magic. It is always magic for those who create it, since that is an act of their will. And then it is magic or anti-magic for others, depending on whether they use it with conscious intention or become used by it. The key thing is to use technological magic in a way that strengthens rather than supplants us as magicians. If you are using technology to create something, take for example the technology I'm using right now, though in a very unsophisticated way. I don't edit these cards, but I am using a good microphone and interface to connect to my iPhone recording this. Using technology the right way can be empowering. But I've decided to get too technically perfect with these videos is just going to slow things down and there'll just be less content. So I had to find that balance between using it and not overusing it. But if you spend your life channel surfing because you're too hollowed out to have your own imagination, or watching TikTok reels, or playing first-person shooter video games, any of which could have its moments, but if it's being overdone and you're doing it instead of something more meaningful that needs to be done, that's obviously a self-castrating dependence on external magic. Similarly, right now you're using technology to challenge yourself with an oracle reading. But at the same time, a far larger number of internet users are compulsively cruising porn sites. It is crucial that you be the one using the magic rather than letting it use you. For technology to be magic, you must be using it to create change in conformity to your will. When technology creates change not in conformity to your will, then it is an environmental condition like wind, rain, or earthquake. Technology can hollow us out if it supplants our inner development of magic. We should appreciate the great value it can provide, but also not completely take it for granted. One super solar flare, also called a CME, like the Carrington event that happened in the 1850s, could wipe out all non-hardened electronics across a hemisphere, and in some cases, apparently, the whole planet. This is an exceptionally rare phenomenon, and this is not an exceptionally rare phenomenon. It's more a question of every 300 or 400 years minimum. The last one was in 1850s. And it was so intense that Aurora Borealis could be seen as far south as Cuba. And so a CME like that is not a question of if, but when. And so one thing you can do, by the way, to prepare for that, though that could, end technological civilization for quite a while, is don't make the mistake some people make of losing some of their most valuable creative content because they haven't taken the time to protect it. So this is something like $20 on Amazon. It's a Faraday cage. You can't see it, but it's got like metal foil or something in the layer. You need like insulation, then you need like a metal enclosure, and now electromagnetic stuff is not going to get through and destroy your precious thumb drives or SD cards or whatever that you've used to store your content. And the webmaster of Zap Oracle also has one in which he runs site backups. So consider this a propitious time to appreciate the techno magic so wondrously available to us, but also to examine the ways it, for extrinsic goals, objects, and means in general, might be a crutch or addiction. Don't let the magic hollow out the magician. And so when I'm writing this in 2024, this is already topical, but I imagine that in the future, the stakes with technology are going to get more and more extreme, especially because of AI and the convergence of AI and computational biology. AI is already changing everything everywhere all at once, but its vast alteration of human experience is exponential. I urge you to read or watch the YouTube version of something I created called the Singularity Archetype and the High Probability of an Impending Viral Apocalypse. It's based on my work on the Singularity Archetype, which began in 1978 and includes perspectives on AI you will not find elsewhere. And I'm sure I will continue to update that document as time goes on and there are new developments. And we're also working on an AI version of this Oracle, which by the time you see this will probably already be launched. Technology. Use it, but be wary of it as well.